All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to session 5 of How to CAD Almost Anything. Today we go to one of my favorite sessions of all time because we'll be doing, well, the one thing that we do consistently throughout each one of the How to CAD series, which is the Lego project. I think teaching how to CAD Lego bricks is one of the most, I guess, most pedagogical ways of learning how to do CAD because they're not very difficult to do and there's a lot of different things that you can do with them. And that's exactly the point of this. This one is gonna be, we're gonna start very simple by cutting the Lego, and I'm gonna show you in just a moment. But then we'll actually increase the level of complexity by making assemblies, making drawings, all very important and useful things. And potentially later on, maybe some animations, depending on the time. So let's get ourselves and get started. Yes, so anything ranging from session 4. So the point of today is assemblies, exploded view, and engineering drawings, and potentially some animations. And here's a non-comprehensive list of all of the different things that we'll be cutting. Um, I couldn't fit everything, man. We're gonna have a lot more pieces than just these, and I'll show in a moment what I mean by that. Yes, last time we did the paddle racket and the banana. I think those were pretty difficult, perhaps the pinnacle of how difficult this course is gonna be. Yes, we'll leave the questions for the in-person session. This is today. These bricks, the drawing, and this little airplane. So this drawing is actually, I took it from the first iteration of this course, which was in SolidWorks, but it still communicates the same information. We'll be using this drawing in particular to design one of these bricks. So that part, which I'll start in a moment, that one I'll speed up. I don't need to explain much. It's pretty simple. I will come back again and start explaining things when I want to do a drawing of this brick. Then after that, we'll do the brick. Then we'll do the drawing of the brick. Then I want to create multiple versions of this brick to try and get as many pieces to make this little airplane. And it's actually not going to be very difficult because we need one, and I'll have this picture pulled out in a moment, but we'll need, this is a 2x8 plate, that is also a 2x8 plate. It's very simple pieces. Maybe this diagonal one might be the more complex piece, but we'll get to that later. And it's gonna be a simple airplane, so nothing too fancy. And then we're gonna make a drawing of the airplane where we're gonna show with a balloon callouts all of the different parts, and we'll make an exploded view to say, all right, how are you supposed to build this plane? Yeah, so that's gonna be essentially it. And yes, well, this is a preview. I'll leave that for later. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop sharing in here. I'm gonna start sharing. Very good. So now we are in the NX environment as usual. And if you go to the original How to CAD, this is the SolidWorks version in session 6. So I guess it was a session afterwards than this one. We did this Lego brick. So I'm going to pull this side to the side and I'll speed it up from now onwards as I try to follow this drawing. This is the only time in the course where we'll be using an engineering drawing. And eventually, once we get the brick done, we can make a drawing that looks pretty identical to this one. So let's go ahead and get started with all of this. Alrighty, there we go. So this is the Lego brick. Didn't take that much time, honestly, to speed CAD. This I was just like looking at the drawing that I have in here. I will say this is a simplified version of the brick because the reality is that there's normally two ribs that go in there, which we're not gonna do just for simplifying purposes, especially if we're gonna do many of these bricks. So for the time being now, it's actually do a drawing. So there's two different ways where you could do a drawing. I'm gonna go for one approach which I prefer, but both are completely fine. If you go here to applications, there's this tool in here that's called drafting. So you could do a drawing that is internal to this particular part. What that means is that I save the part and it not only has like the 3D model, you would be able to make the drawing, the engineering drawing within it. I'm gonna make an external drawing, which is I'll go here to find and I create a new drawing from scratch. And I prefer that approach a little bit more because that creates an individual file for that drawing. There's drawbacks. I'm I'm not gonna go too much into details, but they're related to, whether the drawing would update whenever you're updating your actual piece. In this case, we're just going simple. We're just learning how to do drawings in general, so not a big problem. But I encourage you to look more online if that is something that you're interested on. I'll go here to File, I go to New, and you go to where it says right here, Drawing, and I'll go for an A4 page, which normally that's about the size, it's about 8.5 by 11 inches. Yes, I'll call it like that. That is completely fine. I'll say, okay. So this is where we are. I like this interface. It looks quite good. I say, first issue. Today's date is actually 01 09/25, drawn by Andy, checked by Andy, approved by Andy. So that's pretty good. I believe that if you go to, I'll figure out later how you could potentially edit those sides in there. Okay, so this is the main drawing area. The first thing that you would do is insert the base view. So for this, I'm gonna first let me here. So it already knows that this is associated with the Lego brick because that's what we had been doing earlier. So I might actually change the scale. Let's see, 2 by 1. See, 5 by 1. No, that's actually too big. So two by 1 for now. Let's look here at the settings. No, that's completely fine. Normally in my other drawing, I had it by 3 by 1, which seemed to be good. So normally when you do drawings, you want to have 3 views. You're gonna have the top, you want to have the top, the side. So essentially, it's you have it like this, then like this, and then like this. You're gonna have 3 projections. Normally, you would also include an isometric view, which shows right how does this look like 3D, but this is you're always looking at it from the top. Those are generally good drawing practices. So I'll bring this one here. See, before it was red, but we can probably change the appearance in just a moment. And I'm gonna bring this view in here, then maybe another. I'll just leave it like that because then if I click in this view in here, I can do a projected view from this one, right? So I can go just like that. In fact, actually, I may get rid of that one in a moment, and I'll explain why in just a second. I'm gonna get rid of these center lines that we see right here. And I believe if we right click here, let me see if I can change. Okay. Select the view. I can update as well. See, shading. That's fine. Shading, this is probably where I could say, all right, I want this to be fully shaded, but I'll leave it as wireframe. We'll come back to that in a moment. It doesn't seem that I'm able to change the overall. I cannot put a custom How is it scaling to these things? I'm going to create first a section view. I want this section view to be right here in the middle. There we go, just like that. But this section view AA, so now I'm gonna just move our drawing right over here. Yes, this one now, it is referenced to that side. That way we can see it from the inside, right? And we can add some dimensions related to the drawing over there. In fact, I'm gonna now add the projected view of our drawing. Let's see, the base view. It allows you actually in here to say isometric. How that? Okay, this doesn't look too bad. I could also go back here to our friend the Lego brick, and I can save a particular view. For instance, if this is the one, yes, accept. Cool, yeah, I don't want this. I go here to views, right? Let me just here. I'll hide the datum. Suppose that this is a view, and we're gonna come back to this afterwards when we do our explosion of the assembly. We have a Lego brick that looks like that. So you go here to model views. I believe you can say other view. I'm gonna rename it to drawing view. Okay. If I click here in front, it brings me to front, but if I go to drawing view, which is the one that we just created, it brings you back here. So this is gonna be important. Why? But if I come back here, I go to base view, I'm gonna bring now my friend the drawing view, and it is exactly this one. And obviously everything has to be actually it does allow me to do custom scales, so I'm gonna go right ahead and change that now to ratio. I'll make that free. Same thing with this one right here. As you can find, no, move view, settings, sure, no, that's fine. I'll probably just get rid. I'll create a new one in a second. Okay, so if you're looking at the dependent views of a particular drawing, then it's not gonna work. So I'll go here, I'll place my brick right in here. Then I'll do a couple of things over there about it. So go back to projected view. No, to section view. Right, like that. And then I can do a projected view, but I wanna have it parent view. I want this one to be the parent view. There we go. That way it's a projected view that comes right from here. Very good. Let's just leave this here. They're all related and nicely. Yes, I'll get rid of all of these center lines that it decides to create. Very good. Because I guess we might not be able to remove those, but that's okay. And now for top view, we're gonna come back to the drawing view. We'll make this the ratio that we originally had. 3. And we're gonna place a brick right there. Now, as I promised earlier, this view that I'm putting in here is just for decoration purposes. That way, one would have an idea of what the brick is supposed to look like, or whatever you're designing would look like in the close this here. Yeah, I like it over there, right? But if you right click here, let's go to different text, look to shading. You can say fully shaded. Let's say okay. Very good. That way, this is normally the only view out of the drawing views that is colored. The rest are normally shown in the wireframe, at least in this particular setting. Let me leave this in here for now. And now I want to see if I can start adding some text here. Then these tables that you have in here, we'll go over many of these items when we do the next drawing, not now, after we have the assembly completed. But for now, we'll just probably focus on these. Okay, now yes, I'm back. I think I figured it out. I was just trying to modify the size of the table. Reality is that upon looking it up, you have to type up here, you have to put layer settings. On your layer settings, something like this will appear. You have to make sure that that 256 is checked. Once you're done with that, then you can actually right click here and you're able to do fun stuff. That's how we start writing text. I'm gonna call this 2x4 Lego brick. Okay. See, that looks fine. Okay, middle center. Here, page cell. Actually, back here. I'm gonna call this session 5-1. But then we're gonna do another drawing later. Say, okay. Now yes, I'm starting to understand even what I'm trying to teach it myself and how all of these things work. Yeah, that's fine. So I go here, middle center as well. Close. And a number of other settings you could potentially modify as well. That looks good. That looks good. Maybe this one. I'll just get rid of all of the text. I'll call it how to almost anything. And now what we can do is we go here to the size. Here's middle center. See border, workflow. Yes. Mm. We're gonna change the size. Very good. Maybe this one a little bit bigger. 9. Very good. Same thing with this one right here. So it's a little bit more methodological, the process of making drawings, but I like it. It's certainly different than other drawing softwares that I've used. This one seems a lot more robust. Let's see if I can change I'll probably leave the picture here. And here, these are the ones that I'm gonna delete. There we go. The all section, all dimensions in millimeters, I will leave it. It's important to normally say that. Normally there's an area here which I actually. Now another thing that we can do is we can now start editing our table, right? We can bring this down just like that. Again, let's see our cells, yeah, merge all of those. And here maybe I'll probably just write in here notes. All dimensions 8 millimeters. Okay. That's good. And I'll get rid here. I'm just gonna get rid of that text. Okay, so now we can free up some space. In fact, we can probably move some of these things. There we go. Yes, that is updating automatically. There we go. I do need to change the scale because we were using 3:1. This is a good opportunity to change that. Just since we're here, why not also merge these cells in here? Or I'll just manually write the text like that. Well, I think this is as much as we could probably do. And then I'll just move all of this to that area which seems to be bothering us because I want to bring another view right there. Like this. Yeah, I like it over here. Very good. Then you can always drag it. I think it looks cleaner like this drawing format. All of these lines will actually disappear afterwards. I'm not terribly concerned. We haven't actually done the most important part of the drawing, which I'll explain in a moment. But now, actually, we're done finishing it with the title. So now, yes. Oh, my goodness. All right, now, yes, we're back. It was a catastrophe. It was almost catastrophic, but fortunately, we were able to figure it out how to bring it back to look nice like this. If you do want to edit the table, what you will need to do is here, go to edit definition, and then just click in there where it says edit table, and that allows you to go back here. And then once you're done, right click and put finish edit table. Because if you exit, I believe it just loses, which is what we have done, just loses all of the changes that you had already employed, and then click OK, just in case. Okay, this is good. Now I just want to bring another base view, which is gonna be, yeah, but I want to bring the bottom view. This is gonna be also ratio 3, and I do want to make it related to that one. I'll say okay. So now, yes, we're gonna start adding a number of dimensions in here. I'm just gonna get rid of some of these lines. So slowly, carefully, just bring these guys there. Maybe section AA, I'm gonna just leave it right there. Away, or maybe right here. I don't think I'll put any dimensions. And essentially now I'm just gonna replicate the dimensions that I've employed in my other Lego drawing. And hopefully all of those things will make sense. Oh my goodness, I deleted. So why bring this up here for a moment? Otherwise it selects the title block and I don't want that to be selected. I'll bring this here, very good. Get rid of those as well. And that one we definitely needed, but I'm just gonna bring the AAs. Maybe I'll just put them right. Oh, there we go. You can make a drawing a piece of art, right? This is the whole point, one of my favorite things to honestly do. There we go. And that's already associated. And yes, we can start adding dimensions. And how you do that? The same way that you would do in any other sketch by going here to this tool and click on Rapid Dimensions. So for instance, I can go and I'll select these two sides and I'll say, yes, that is 32. one thing that I can say about this is that there's I would just double click and you can add tolerances. This is the case of whether you would want perhaps to machine this somewhere, right? That you want to provide sufficient details. I was just adding some dimensions, and what I found out is that if you double click in, actually, if you go here and you go to, well, it's not in edit, it is in settings. There's a number of things that you can change. For instance, in dimension text, well, it's not orientation. I can always show, for instance, horizontally, which is what I do want. Then for units, it's fine. But I can say 2 decimal places. I want it with a period and show trailing zero. That way, that is always the case. So I'm just gonna leave it like this. In fact, I wonder, yes, I'm just gonna leave it like that. And I'll do the same thing in here. Edit up the text. No. Edit. No, settings, there we go. Go here, units, 2, period, so trailing zeros. Very good. So we're gonna probably gonna do that in every dimension. Now let's try to go back here. I'll just start, I will just finish populating. I believe I should be able to select this circle and this circle right there, just like that. So I'm just gonna start adding some of those right here. Oh, that is not what I wanted. Bring that like that. Then we go from here to here. Yeah, so I'll probably just add these dimensions. I'll speed it up and I'll let you guys watch and just pause as you will. was just trying to create a node and just putting an arrow on the text, and I realized it was super simple. It was, you just had to go to node and just look at all of the other settings that were available. It was just not obvious. So the way to do it is bring here the node that you want, and then we do edit, and select terminating position. I'm gonna go very close there, just like that. Okay, that's what I wanted to show. Okay, I think I figured out just one last detail as I was about to say, is that I'm gonna close this for a moment. If I were to go to this node, right, I double click, takes me here to general. Now, one thing that I didn't realize was that you can add symbols by looking in here. And the one that I was looking for was that one in particular, which means there's a whole depth of 8.4 millimeters, which was exactly what I wanted to communicate. So now you know it's, again, we go here in general, so you can find them here, which is very important. That being said, there we go. That being said, this is our completed drawing. I will make this file available. It took us a little bit more time than I thought, but it looks pretty detailed. So perhaps the only other part that we can do is to save as. We can actually it's not save as. Let's see if we can export this. I want to export as a PDF more than as a. No, sure, yeah. Okay, just one, two last notes before we're done. So here it is, are mostly completely drawing. What I will say from here is that you go to File, Preferences, Drafting. You saw me manually having to change all of these dimensions. The reality is that you shouldn't have done it. This is stuff that I learned after the fact that would have helped you a lot of times. In particular, well, the first thing is if you go here to Workflow, you see by clicking Display, those boxes appear here. The reality is that I'm gonna go back here to File, again, the preferences, drafting, I'll get rid of that. So remember it's here where it says workflow. Otherwise, if you go all the way, I believe it's in dimensions, and you go to where it says text, units, I could have systematically changed right here how everything is going to be displayed. And I'll say, okay, in fact, in orientation, I will probably do the same thing. Not many things will change because I had already done it myself, but to show that that's powerful, well, it's something that you can do to save more time afterwards. The other sad thing that I just came to realize is that, I'm gonna save this, is that when you go to File, Export, because this is the student version, it doesn't allow you to export as a PDF. Normally you could. In contrast, you have to export now as a picture. And I'll say, yeah, JPEG, that's fine, and say okay. And now to show you what that looks like, we can go back here. And let me just bring, there we go. So before, when I had exported let's bring it back here. It had the bounding boxes. So now this looks a little bit more appropriate. I think this is pretty decent as a first attempt to Lego brick drawing. So let's take a quick break and let's continue by doing assemblies. Righty, let's continue with our session for today. So now we got the brick, we got the drawing. So now I think begins the more fun part of today's session, which is gonna be making an assembly. But the problem is that to actually make an assembly, we need to make the different bricks first. And I'm just gonna bring this picture in here. This is the airplane that we're gonna try to emulate. So we already did this particular brick in there. No, that's three studs. Yeah, so we'll be able to make every single model of brick. So here's how we can do it. In particular, I'm gonna go here to file. There's easier ways of doing this, which we're gonna learn on the next session when we do configurations. Today we're gonna hardcore write all of this stuff. For instance, if I were to do a 2x3 brick, let's start with a 2x2, which I think is the easiest example, right? So now modifying this is very simple. In fact, we're gonna go back to the easiest way to do this would be to go here to text. Actually, not to do this one. Go to our very first sketch right here. Instead of having this 32, let's make that 16. Now, there's gonna be a couple of rebuilding errors as this box is clearly pointing out, and that is not a problem because we are gonna modify most of this. These are mostly concerning these guys, for instance. With the linear pattern, we're only gonna make the linear pattern to 2, just like that. Yes, that is true because we have an error still with these kids. Let me see, what is the, no, actually this is fine. It is this one right here that has a problem. And we're gonna make this just 1. Just like that. Very good. And what is the, I think this should be fine because we didn't change anything from here. So this, very good. So now, very easily, we just did the 2x2 grid. I'm gonna save this. And now file, save as. And let's do the, I'm not sure whether we'll need a 2x2, but we're just making it just in case. At least I'll make all of these parts available. That way you can use them afterwards. I'm gonna go here, edit. So then the next configuration here is gonna be 24. We're gonna make the 2x3 brick. Suppress. It's fine. See if I can fix this. Yeah. I'm not sure where the point that it's talking about is, but that's, I guess it's not impeding us yet from doing a lot more. So I'm just changing the numbers here. Part of the point. Okay, I'm gonna change this in here to be now 2. Now we go to those points. I can actually hide that. Oh, okay. We got that brick. Then perhaps a much easier one to do. Let's bring again our picture. We do need these, we need a 2x6, I believe that's what it is, and a 2x8 that are just thinner. So the way to do that is go file, let's see, 2x2, 2x3, 2x4. So we're gonna call this 2x6 plate. I'll say okay. So this one is gonna be simpler because on the very first extrude, what we're gonna do is when I edit this one, instead of making it 9.6, I'll say 9.6 over 3. That's gonna, there's a couple of things, yes, that are gonna change. That's fine, that's fine. I think no, those are mostly fine. Actually, I think a much easier approach in this case will be to make this first instead of modifying this way. I'm gonna go back here and edit. Very good. I'll change this to 48. I go to finish. Fine. Extrude. Yes, the must be fine. To edit in here. We'll click on 6. Yes, I understood that. But now, yes, these guys would be the 5 of them. Very good. And now what we're gonna do is do a sketch on the top face. We're gonna completely project these surfaces. Actually, I'm just actually going connected curves. We are live is well, it didn't help because I was already in the command mode. That's completely fine. I'll say okay. And then we're gonna extrude, subtract downwards by 9.6 over 3 times 2. So you see exactly what I mean. So it's 0.6 over 3. That I need to reverse the direction. Just like that. I say, okay, I'm gonna hide this. So now we have our plate very nicely designed. I'm gonna just click on save. That's our 2 by 6. So now let's do our 2 by 8. Let's go here to file, save as 2 by 8. I click OK. Go back to our original sketch. So we need to add, so that was 42, so this should be 64. Okay. So now let's go to our original pattern. Take a look again. I think it's fine to continue ignoring that because it's not giving us many errors in the long run anyways. I believe that should be 7. Very good. Okay. So we have most of our bricks in here. Actually, we're not. We do need 2 more, which are perhaps a little bit more challenging to make, but I don't think it's gonna be as terrible to do them, which are the slanted bricks. So we're gonna we're gonna start doing this one based off of a 2 by 2 brick. So let's see. Then go here to file, open. I'm gonna bring the 2 by 2 in here. I'm gonna save as this one because it's too slanted. Very good. So now this is where the fun begins. What would be the best approach to actually get this brick done? Yeah, so we're kind of stuck in a very primitive part of this piece, but that's okay because I'm just gonna quickly try to make this cut. So that's supposed to be 8. We said that was 9. So go here to finish. And I'll explain why it was necessary to go over this detail. The reality is that now I'm going to employ a different command that's called shell, which maybe I should have done in the first place too. But I can do shell thickness over here that when I give it 1.2, the reality is that that Lego symbol or that Lego little Lego writing that I had in there was messing up with all of this stuff. But now here's the beauty of this command, right? That it takes us, this is exactly what the piece is supposed to look like. So I click here in OK, very good. And now, yes, I believe Lego was written in here. And now I can extrude it upwards again by 1.2. No, I think it was, we need to check the drawing that we just made here. That from the previous videos that we've done. That is here. Lego extrusion was 0.1. Okay. Just clicking here. Specify curve. There we go. Going to unite 0.1. Good. So I'm gonna just hide that again. Yeah, so we're getting there. It's now we're gonna do here pH blends that we had before. Just like that. And then we can go here to pattern feature. Select the Lego just like this. Okay. Did a mistake. Just like that. Good. I think we need to select also extrude 16. No. Let's extrude 2. Because the hole was part of the exact direction. Maybe this feature pattern. Let me just get rid of that. Actually, wondering Z whether all of these would actually work. Oh, there we go. So it was just a matter of doing it again and just reordering things. I like it in the feature tree, or you could just move things around that is convenient. Okay, so let's just add these lingering details. In fact, I'll be lazy and I'll add them on all of the edges. So making individual ones, I'll say, okay. So now the last part that actually does remain is that this piece does have a circle in here. In fact, I'm gonna go here, right to the middle of the sketch, and I'm gonna draw a line. Yes, that could go just like this. And we'll draw one circle or dimension 4.8, and this has to be offsetted by 0.6, exactly right. So now we should be able to extrude. Now we're gonna choose this one, which is until extended. Select object, it's gonna be this. Let's see if it works. Or this today may not be. Um, wonder why. The problem is that it creates that cut. Um, I guess I'll just leave it like this, and it doesn't matter because I'm gonna go back to that sketch and I'll extrude it out. This is not the end of the world. Yes, we'll do 16, and let's get rid of that. Let's see, 16. Yeah, there was 16. Good. Okay. So it took a little bit more work than I thought it was gonna take, but at least it's done. This is our piece in here. Our new, I think it looks quite decent overall. I think maybe in this piece, maybe the Lego might not be oriented in this direction. It might be oriented in a different one. That's okay. This is our version of the piece. I'll say save. Now let's replicate this approach here. File save as to make the 2x3 version. 2x3 slanted. We're gonna go here to file, and so we already have it here. But let's start by modifying the basics. So that's supposed to be 24. I'm already fearing that this will be a pain to do. In fact, yes, that extrude is not gonna work. And that one, we'll leave the circles for last. The most important part is that we need to edit. Let's see. No, that one is fine. No, a little bit sketch 8, very good. So instead of 8, that has to be 16. I'll click on finish. Now we have this slightly more slanted piece. Everything else looks good. And now the difference is that we go here to sketch all the way okay. And now we just trace. Yes, entire assembly. Just like that. Make all of these construction geometries. And I'll just add the dimensions that they correspond to. So that's an 8. That's also an 8. That's an 8 as well. And add our friends, the circles. I'll make them equal. Should work here. Equal radius in this case. Okay, now we can make that 4.8, which was our original dimension, and then offset each one of these guys by 0.6. Then we're gonna bring down none until selected, which is gonna be there. That's fine. Then we'll need to color. I believe on another piece, we also have to color this red. Yeah. Actually, I do wanna unite all of these things. There we go. Now, yes, we don't actually need to color this, but yes, let's get rid of those ugly bricks. The way to do that is here, sketch, curve, subtract, and there's 16. Okay, and now we're gonna hide this. So now we're left with what we wanted, which was, yes, very good, the slanted 2x3 brick. So now, yes, we are ready to go to the assembly mode. We have all of our bricks ready to start. So how do we do that? We'll go here to File, the new, and now we're gonna go here, Model, Assembly. And I'm gonna call this Lego. I'm gonna click on OK. So then it's gonna ask us to select the part. So I'm gonna go here to our box. We have all of our different bricks. So looking at our picture, I think I'll start with the 2x4 in here. Oh, I realized that there's one more brick that we could have done that I'm gonna cheat and not do, which is a slanted. It is the equivalent of this brick, but in the other direction. So it's like slanted upwards. Um, Actually, we could do that one. Nah, but I think I'll just keep that. I mean, that will be too much work. Let's start with here the 4. So what you can do is you are able to move this around once you have it in space. I'll say actually it allows you to put it in space. You can fix it if you want. I'm not gonna do that yet. I'm just wondering, I'm gonna say okay. But then there's a command. You go here to assemblies where you can move component. Actually, before I can move specific, but now it doesn't let me to move it. If I want to move the component, I have to click in here. Maybe if I do move component, here, specify point, I want to go to the origin. There we go. That is exactly what I wanted. I say, okay. I just brought it here to the origin. Now, from now onwards, now, yes, I can fix this in here. That way it just doesn't move anymore. Now let's bring, say, another brick. I go here to add component. So let's go for the 2x3. Select location. So you have it just like that. Here's absolute. There we go. Oh, yes, I can move it in space in here. But I believe I can already. Yes, there's also opportunities to change the orientation. Absolutely, yes, that's fine. Down. Yes, so suppose I leave it there. Okay, settings. Okay, I'll just leave it like that. But let's start enforcing some of the constraints. For instance, now, yes, I can say touch. If I do this face and that face, that brings it together. So this is the equivalent of the coincident made in SolidWorks. And I'll say, okay. Reality is that it's not perhaps a good practice to always use the touch constraint. Perhaps this one that's called align might be a little bit better suited for these applications. Let's add component. I'm gonna select part. So now, yes, let's try exactly what I just said using the wing. Just say like, okay, we're gonna move the component dynamically. There we go. What 90 degrees? Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We're only gonna touch. Actually, we can just say. Yes, I only want them to be touching. Yes, I'll say touching here, touching there. Okay, and you see no errors now. Now that we have our wing created, what we're gonna do is go here to home, plane, And I didn't have it selected entire assembly, right? But we're gonna create a bisector plane between these two faces. So we have a plane that is right here in the middle. So then something that will help us a lot of time when we go to assemblies is this mirror. There's also ways to do patterning. In fact, we can get more complicated and build like a little Lego house, which I might end up doing for fun later. Maybe that could be an activity to do in person, right? Go here to next, so select components. I want here, and then mirror plane is gonna be that one. And this pretty to the original. No, it's fine. Very good. And then there's, I think, various options that it gives you. And I say finish. But now I'm just happy with like the piece. Yeah, and it looks quite decent. You could go back here. Yes, and it's actually, you see how it's listing times two. What I could actually do is this command that's called unpack. In other words, it's just that way I can edit this one specifically afterwards. Okay, let's go back to our picture. What else do we have to bring? So we have to bring another 2x8 that is going to come up here. Let's add a component. Actually, what I could do is do Control C. Okay. Oh, okay. Just add a component from here. Next part. Let's bring the 2x8. Select object over there. Okay. So now let's try to see whether all of the things that we've been learning could be applied. So we're only going to apply one singular touch made, or like just touch constraint is going to be between this face and that face. Good. I want those to be touching for sure. Then we're going to align, there we go, this face and that face. Good. And then we are going to, if I'm not mistaken, actually this piece, yes. We're going to align this face. And, oh, I didn't do it correctly. This face and that face, just like that. Okay, very good. In the meantime, we're gonna add component, select part. We're gonna bring the 2x6, and we're gonna employ the same thing. Okay, now here to touch. I want this and this to be touching each other. Then we're going to align this face to that face, but I'll reverse the direction. That way it's like this. And then we're gonna align this face with that face. Good. So now it's understanding. So align are the ones that you would need to bring into the correct orientation, and then you do touch whenever you actually want to be touching. In fact, I could actually iterate. I could have made this one a touch and then the remaining ones align. I could actually maybe do all three of them as as I was it. Actually, we might end up doing a slightly different airplane. Actually, I don't want to do a slightly different airplane. We'll see as we go now. So now we're gonna need here. Let me just go back to our original sketch. Right, so actually this one we don't need it. We needed 2x4. Yeah, we're gonna need that one afterwards. Okay, so a component in here. Okay. Move component dynamically 180, and then add component. Take positioning here. And in fact, look at what we're gonna do. We can actually build a little sub-assembly in here. I can say, all right, you go off to touch right there, and then I'm gonna align these two faces. I'm going to align these two like this. And then what I can say is that then I want this face to be touching this face. So now it's gonna move everything at the same time. And then I want to align. Here we go. I'm gonna use this circle here. I want to align this circle to this circle. in here, but remember to have that option selected. And we're gonna do the exact same thing. I wanna say I want to align. Where's our friend? Align that circle with this circle. Actually, we might not. Was I selecting the correct one? Let me try again. That circle with and that's giving us issues, so we'll probably just leave it like this. Okay. So we are in here. So then let's go back, let's save. So to our six plate, we need to define, we actually need to create a 2x4 plate. So let's go back here to file, save as. Let's create the 2x4 plate. Yeah, we can also save the airplane. The airplane. Yeah. This one I save. This one I don't need anymore. File, save as. Did I create the 2x4? No, I didn't create the 2x4. So, okay, so I'm not sure why it was giving us troubles like that, but we're gonna go back here, edit, make that 48. No, 48, no, it should be 32. Finish. Yes, we do need to edit here our patterns. 4. And then we need to edit this one as well, make that 3. Okay, and now yes, we're back in the 2x4. I'm gonna save it. Then I believe we do need a 2x3 as well. So let's create that since we're here. File, save as. Let's create this 2x3 piece. Click OK. Um, Not sure why. Yes, so it's because that one is open still. So I should probably close it, but I think this is fine. So now I'm gonna go here to file, save as. No, we're already in the 2x3 plate. So I'm gonna go back here, edit. Let's do that. Let's be a 24. Good. This is fine. Let's edit this. Let's make that 3. Okay. Let's edit that pattern to 2. Very good. And I'm gonna save this. Actually, I am curious. Lego. The other direction. How does it look like? Um, okay, so it looks like this. Let's see. It's like a one, it's like a 1x1 brick, and then it has the middle circle like that. You know what? Let's try it. So I'm gonna start first. Well, let's open. Let's close the airplane. Save, close. just modify them. No. If anything, we'll just restart it again in a moment. Actually, I'll open the 2x2. This one is going to be actually quite simple because save as a 2x1 brick. And we don't even need this pattern at all. Actually, we never, and we won't need this either. That as well. I'm just gonna change this. Okay. I'll just leave it. I'm gonna create it like this. So now that this is done, I can potentially go here to sketch, edit. Okay. Good. This one looks fine. So now let's open again. Actually, now that we're here, I might actually edit it from there. So I'm gonna go file, save as, let's say 2x2. Bricks, or how did I name it? Bricks landed. I'm gonna call it up slanted. So it's just like you'll see what I mean in just a moment. So I'll get rid of those features. I'll probably bring them in a moment. The reality is I'm gonna go here to sketch here on this face. And what I'm gonna do is draw pretty exactly as we had it. So this was 8. And I'll need a line in here. Find this to be, I mean, we made it 9, and it was, so that should be 0.6. Very good. So I'm gonna extrude that, yes, in that direction by 16 or -16, but I don't want to subtract. I need to unite. Okay. Actually, what is gonna be convenient in here will be to, I'm not gonna do it. I'll probably call it a nut, and you'll see why in a moment. Because I'm gonna tell this piece problem is that brick in there, if it's shelled all the way, hide this for a moment. Let me see if I can. There we go. That is exactly what I want. Okay, good. So now I'm gonna show this piece again. Oh, cancel. Show it. Very good. And now we can unite this piece and that piece. Yes, we'll come back and I go here to assign feature color. This is gonna be our blue brick. I guess actually we're gonna go here. Oh, the solid body, Control J, and we're gonna give this the blue color. Excellent. Now we're still not done because we need to add a couple more details, and those details precisely will be the following ones. I'm gonna go here to sketch, here on the top face. And what we need to do now is add the 2 circles. So the way that we're gonna do that is as follows. Fortunately, these 2 circles are not as detailed as the ones that we had before. We can make that 4. And then with another line, we can come back here, like that form. Now this moved. What did that be? Coincident. It seems it stayed there. That's good. Want that to be 4 as well. Oh, oh yes, it can. Right, let's make this line be 8. Excellent. That way we are guaranteed to have our circle be right in the middle of where it has to be. So then we can do, well, even here, that should be 8. 2 circles. I'm gonna dimension these to be 4.8 each. I just know by this point the Lego dimensions quite well. And then I'll offset inwards both of them by negative 1.2. And the reason for that is because there's a uniform wall thickness that we're using. I'll say, okay. And now we can go here to finish. And we're going to extrude this piece. Let's see whether it allows us. So from start, I'm going to start from here. Oh, come on. You know what? From start, and just say start from 1.2, which is where we were originally, and end until extended. Say offset until selected. Okay, that seems to work. Yeah. And now let's go ahead and let's add all of the chamfers that we already had. In here too. Okay, I think it looks approximately like the right piece is supposed to look like. So let's save. So now let's open whatever remains of the airplane. I think, yes, this is fine. So let's go here to assembly. And now we're going to continue adding components. So the first component that we're going to add is going to be the 2x4 plate. It's going to go down here. Okay. And then we're going to go here to touch. They're going to be touching, and then we're going to align. Align this and this. Good. Then we're going to align this guy. No? See. Let me just make sure. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, I wanna get rid of that setting. Maybe let me edit this. Okay, let's align. The motion object is this one. Stationary object is that one. So let's see. Actually, what would happen if or the lines, so this would be this. I made this hole and this one. Okay, that did the trick. I'm glad that worked. So it's a component. Let's open now for blue upwards slanted brick. We're gonna bring it here. Okay, let's do this exact same procedure. We're gonna have this and this touch. Then aligning this face and that face. Good. Then we're gonna align. Oh, okay. This face. This face. Okay, let's go back to this one in here. Let's edit. Let's see whether cancel. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this touch. Maybe we're gonna try these two to touch. There we go, just like that. Okay, this happens to be about the same height. Uh, might be a problem afterwards, but that's okay. Let's see. Yes, that is the brick that we were looking at before. So now we have another 2x8 coming in here. So wonder whether, right, I'm gonna unpack. Let me, add component, replace, move, hide, copy. Oh, very good. Resolve. No, but I don't want move. Copy. Yes, because it's copying with all of the constraints, so that's a good thing. But the reality is that I wasn't intending to have this dynamic. It's specify orientation. Okay. And now let's add the constraints. So I want this to be touching here. Okay, now there is, I believe it's center, very good. We're gonna do two. So I wanna align this in the middle. It's an important constraint to use. I'll use, you select this face, you select that face, and then you select this face, and you select that face, and it brings it all the way like that. Okay. And now back in assemblies, we're gonna align, say this face and this face. Will that work? Actually, I'm gonna get rid of that touch. And I will say that I want this to be touching this here. Okay. So brought it to the correct space. And now I'm gonna bring up a new component. Fear not, we can change the colors of all of these things. I'm not particularly concerned right now. So home assemblies. So it's not a trivial. I thought making the airplane was gonna be easier, but we ended up designing a lot of pieces. Okay. So now let's move. Specify orientation. It's a matter of just practicing a lot. We, there we go. Actually, I'm not happy with this. I will say at first it took a minute getting just acquainted with the NX. Just their, yeah, I'm gonna just touch with their assembly environment, but it's quite intuitive now. The once you're working with this. Oh no, we're gonna align this with this, just like that. And then we're gonna align this face and that face. Boom. I kind of like it as a fully red airplane, but I do want to make all of the bricks different. I'll just save this. Very good. And we just have a few more bricks left. that component, we have the two-way free plate remaining down here. Okay. So we can say that we want this and that to be like that, then aligning. Oh, answered. Actually, this might be a good point where, all right, so we're gonna make this is this touch. Okay. Then we're gonna align this face and that face. Good. Actually, we could align also this face and this face. Excellent. Okay. So now we are pretty much done. We need to add component, select part. This is gonna be our 2x1 brick. We're gonna bring right there, and then let's make this is that touch, and let's align. Here, boom. Yeah, normally you would have that piece, which is the propeller, but we're gonna assume this is a jet aircraft. And now our component, select part. This is where we bring the 2x6 that we designed. I'm just gonna bring it here. And looking at the picture, it was oriented right over there, right? So we're gonna make this guy and this guy touch. Then we're gonna align this face and that face. Good. And now as to bring it, the only thing that I'm realizing, right? If I were to move this thing is that if I were to do dynamic, it will only let me move it. I'm not sure it's gonna, it just doesn't rotate, allow me to rotate this anymore. Because again, I've constrained it well enough, right? That this can only move in a certain direction. Just a constraint. In SolidWorks, generally, this move command does exist, but it's a lot more intuitive in the sense of how you build assemblies. Just something, yeah, discard changes. So now we need to make sure that this piece is right there. And I'm thinking that perhaps the best way to do this would be to align now this, no, there we go, align this circle with this other circle, but we need to go, no, I don't want to make it concentric. No, no, no. It is aligned, what I was looking for. There we go. Oh, let's give me all sorts of errors. When we do that, I think we can also do, no, but I don't want to do distance, but that would be a little bit artificial. Um, Maybe we could align the this line with that line, and that does do the trick precisely. Okay, so we're almost done with all of everything that is concerning here our little airplane, the realities, and now first let's save this. Now you can right click in here and say I click in the part. We do the usual Control J. Let me just go here, no selection filter. I believe it's Control J. Oh no, I was doing Shift J. Control J. There we go. I was doing the wrong key. Now I can change the colors of all of these pieces. Technically, it only changes one. And that's excellent. So that allows us to, doesn't matter the color where you bring it in, as long as Control J, as long as you can always change it in the assembly. So we're gonna actually make every single piece a different color. And I'll go back to that one. And let's take a moment to do that. Control J, lime. Normally, it's a fun fact. Legos of very rare colors. There's a palette of colors. Those are very rare colors. Very expensive. So I guess you could 3D print your own. That one, I kind of like the two red stripes. It looks nice that way. Like what's another color that it's another bluish. Maybe that orange. Very good. Now, yes, we can save this. So we're almost done. So we've done a number of bricks. We've done a drawing of one of the bricks, a pretty detailed one. We've done this pretty nice looking assembly, to be honest, of the Lego airplane. So now we're gonna do an exploded view, but we're gonna do it in just a moment. Alrighty, so now we just have two more things left, which is making an exploded view out of this airplane and then making a drawing that shows all of the different ways in which this got assembled. So let's go ahead and get started with that, at least making the exploded view. So just go here to say, just write explosions. And there we go. So now we're gonna create a new one in here. And we're gonna start it. So the way this works is that now, for instance, I can select these three components as an example, right? And here, explore, command explore, manual, is specify orientation. I'm gonna bring these guys upwards like this. I'll say, okay, actually apply, because if I click OK, you're leaving the explosion, which you could totally do. Actually, I might do that in a moment. And now I'm gonna select these two, specify orientation, and bring it upwards like this. There's other ways in which you could potentially do it and things automatic, but just do it manual, say apply, then maybe let me do this brick in here. So the nice thing about this Lego assembly is that I'll say, okay, actually, yes, I did do okay. And yes, now we just left our exploded view, right? In fact, we could potentially save this as a view because otherwise, yeah, I believe, delete explosion, invisible view. I can say close in here because if I were to go back to model view, I go to back, you see how it disappeared. We no longer have, yeah, so it was saved in the trimetric view in here. If we go back to right, we have again our exploded view. Now, let's type in here explosion again. Oh, here we got our explosion, so let's edit this bad boy. Here, edit explosion. So let's continue building off from this one, right? We can bring now these layers of bricks downwards. Say, okay. Oh, actually, I shouldn't say okay. I'm always, there we go. Let's just select that one. And then just making sure, apply. There we go. Let's move this one. Let's move it backwards. This one. Let's move forwards. This guy. Let's move it like this. Actually, yeah, I think that's fine. Actually, maybe no. I'll probably want to leave it, maybe I'll leave it like this. Say, cancel. Okay, close. Now, one thing that we could potentially do is we can create trace lines, right? And it's going to tell you, right, you want to specify certain points. For instance, I'm going to say, let's see what points it allows. So, for instance, it's essentially showing the way that this is coming together. I'm going to say, give me a trace line between here and there, right? So what that is giving us is that the brick is supposed to be, so I just want the line to be showing that the brick is supposed to be coming straight like that. I'll say apply, give me another trace line that goes from here to there. I'm just gonna modify the line so that it's easier for me to, like, tell it doesn't need to be perfect, as you can tell. In fact, I may actually modify the explode. Oh, that's a plane that I need. I'll say cancel. Very good. Let me just continue editing the explosion. That way I'll actually show them. And these are the only two bricks that I'll show together. I'll put the nose, I guess, of the plane in there. Bring this like this. I'll say apply. This I'll also move. I'll say apply. I'll leave it maybe mostly like this. Maybe this one. I'll move it to. I'll move this brick as well. Okay, now yes, I'm happy. Yes, we need to show how this is being built, right? So let's continue adding trace lines. For instance, let's see, maybe from this hole to that hole, so it's immediately straight. That one is quite simple. In fact, that is the same thing with this one right there. I like it, right? Because it's a pretty nice depiction of how it's supposed to look like. Yeah, so that is a little bit convoluted, but oh, and the trace lines here, edit. I'm not sure whether that one was the best one. There we go. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted. Bring it there. It's supposed to be a straight line. There we go. Now, yes. Let's continue. I think explosion disappear. Continue adding trace lines. That. No. There we go. Good. Not as complex. Now you can start to tell how everything is coming together. So it's all collapsing, just like that. Now we need to specify from this hole all the way to that one. Good. I believe that's the same thing. This one, yes, that one was left stationary. Yeah, that zigzag is not quite necessary. But I'll click on apply. Then I'm trying to remember. Yes, because that one just went like this, if I'm not mistaken. Very good. This one, believe, yes, I need to click apply. Believe that circle, um, this circle, go exactly like that. Good. Let's say, very good, close. I'm just gonna move that away. I don't need it. Yes, so this is precisely how you would build the brick. Now I'm just gonna go back to it work. No, Eddie, where's our friend? The 2x3 brick. Opening window. Let's see. Oh, I know what happened. Let's go back to the airplane assembly. I need to hide the plane. There we go. So now this is gonna look a little bit better. There we go. So now we have our exploded view. And again, perhaps I like this, the way it's looking like in here. So I'm gonna go back to our brand view. I'm gonna add a view in here. Uh, oh, did I create it? No. There we go. There we go. In this view, you can see all of the bricks. They're not blocked by any. So here, add view. Where did it create? Rename. Now we're gonna call this explode view. Okay, so if I go back to front, it's like this, but if we go to exploded view, it looks like that. Okay, this is great. So now we can make a drawing out of the airplane. So let's first save this, that way it's like this. So I'm gonna go here to home, and then we are gonna go to file, new, here drawing, A4 page, airplane drawing, right? Okay. Good. Yes, I'll do today again the same details as we had before. Now, hopefully, it should be a lot more agile than what we had. Oh, let's see if I can come back. Yeah, there we go. Close. Yes, so I could bring all of the different dimensions of the airplane. Alternatively, I'm just gonna bring here our exploded view. Uh, oh, I see what's going on. I'm gonna uh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do the drawing in a different way. I'll go here to where is it? Our friend applications drafting, and I'll make it internally. That way I can make use of this drawing in here. Say okay. So let's do the exact same things as we had it before. 01, 09, 25, and the close. And now, yes, it's gonna bring the colored version of the plane, which is what I wanted, right? So this is, and then if we go to exploded view, it does bring also the exploded view that we were interested on. And the scale is 1:1, which is just perfect. It's, I'm not worried too much about this overlapping a little bit in here because I'm gonna get rid of some of these things. Very good. I'll need to get rid of a lot of these lines, but the first thing that I'm gonna do is if you remember, first things first, let's actually save this, right? We can always have it, but well, I'm just gonna here layer layer settings. Make sure that that 256 is selected. That was super important. So that allows us to go back here to the drawing. In fact, I'm gonna go to here to edit definition, edit table, and this is what allows us. We struggle a lot with this, right? I struggle a lot with this earlier, but now it's a lot easier to work with. And essentially, I just want to move when I just start editing this in a similar way to did before. So I call it how to CAD almost anything. Okay, this one, I promised that we were gonna do another one, and indeed, yes, this is 5.2. And then if you click in settings, you can go to the cell, make it top center, middle center, lettering. Let's make that 9. Actually, drawing was gonna be a spine of this. Yes, this will be fine. I just need to. It's this is gonna be the Lego airplane. Okay, we are gonna leave it like this. No, that's fine. We had said that that was gonna be 5. Cell, middle center. Okay. Edit cell. There we go. Is 5.2. Excellent. I just got rid of all of that stuff because I honestly didn't need any of that. But here, so we're gonna leave something like that. So now finish, not exit, finish edit table. Remember that. That was an important mistake that I've done before that was catastrophic. And I click OK. But now, if you go here to our model view, you go here to no, settings, here in shading. I want to give it actually fully shading. Now it's easier to tell what part is which. Now, if you remember on file, preferences, drafting, we need to go to our friend in here. Or was it in workflow? No, it's in drawing view workflow. I don't want that weird display. I click OK. So that looks a little bit nicer. But now let's get rid of all of these center lines. Okay. I was just trying to figure out how to come back here to the assembly mode. It was just Control M. And if you do Control D, no, actually Control D, no, but if you go back here to Tools, Application Drafting, it takes us back to where we were. So I'm gonna go back here to Control M to figure out what was going on with this line in here. Just make it like that to see whether we go back to application to drafting, whether it shows better. No, no lag. Okay, I'm satisfied. Maybe I'll just do, we can go back to Control M. I'll get rid of that one. Go here to explosion. Oh, explosions. There we go. We trace line that goes from here to here. Just like that, I click apply. Okay. Now we're gonna leave this like that. Save. Yes. Okay. Whenever I go back here to application, drafting. No, no light. Okay, that's fine. Now I'm gonna go here to balloon. I believe we can start here. I'm gonna here's a specify locator. No, but I want to make it yes, just like that. So I need to manually add all of these balloons. So it should be there's a way. Yeah, so we can do tabular no parts list here. So we can bring this list of parts and we can leave it right there. I'm just gonna make this smaller. So let me get rid of this drawing. There we go. I'm gonna bring a new base view. Oh, now yes, it is showing. But what I'm gonna do is go here to Control M, and I go here to exploded explosions. I'll edit this explosion. I will bring this piece closer, and you will see what's the point of doing that in a second. I should explosion, edit, manual. There we go. Now we go back to application, drafting. We are gonna bring our base view, which is gonna be so the view right there. But that way we have space to put the table. And these parts list, and I'm gonna drop it right there. Right, so now what we need to do is that we have the table in here, but we need to make this view over here smaller. And also, once we imported the new view, because we had moved that brick a little bit closer here, I just realized that all of the center lines came. But I was just investigating, and if you go here to where it says view, where it says show and hide, right there, drawing objects, annotation, center lines, and I can just hide all of them. So that's gonna save us a lot of time. So that being said, we're gonna click now on Control M, and then brings us back to the model. So I'll click in here and go to explosions. I'll edit the explosion that we were looking at before. And I'm gonna go here, we go edit explosion, and I'm gonna move some of the bricks a little bit more to the left. That way it's a little bit, everything's not as compressed. There we go, just like that, a tiny amount, nothing. Say apply, very good, because if you say okay, again, as usual, everything disappears. Well, it just closes the program, right? There we go. Apply. Yeah, for me, it's more intuitive to say okay than apply. Great. This brick right there, and this other one, it's like this. Say apply. And ideally, as you can see, the center line also moves. So this is good. I'm just wondering why this, maybe this one brick, I'll move it upwards by a tiny amount, let's say apply. That way that center line looks straight, but I don't think it was straight before. And this looks mostly fine. I'm just curious to see whether all our center lines, you see they're a little bit tweaked. I'm not a fan of that. And so maybe I'm just gonna modify this and say apply. That way looks just perfect, right? So that looks a lot straight. This one, let's see. Oh, that's too high. Let's see if I leave it there. No. Yeah. No. No. Let me just continue. It was a millimetric this movement that I had to conduct there. The same thing goes with this one right here. Okay, that looks a little bit better to me. Okay, let's close this. Say close. Very good. So now we got all our bricks laid out, which is quite good. So now I'm just gonna click here and save. Yes, I see. So now let me just go back here, and just if we go back to views, our exploded view was this one, right? This is the one that we had saved just before. So then we go here to application, then drafting, and that takes us to where we were. Now this is the old view. So I'm just gonna delete, actually go here, delete, and I'll bring a new base view in here. We could do actually two drawings, right? Showing the entire airplane build. We may actually do that. In fact, I may create another page in just a second, but for now, let's start by making this one with the exploded view. Very good. So now that looks a lot better. Obviously, the bomb that we created before disappeared as well, but that's okay, right? We knew. As I close, and now we go again to versus view. No, show and hide center lines. I don't want them. Then in this drawing over here, was it in properties? No. Right here, settings, shading, fully shaded. Okay, excellent. And we don't need to provide dimensions here. Fortunately, it did save in here what we had before, but now we're going drafting to Oh, there we go. So parts list. I'm gonna bring this bad boy over here, and I'll just edit the size of our table. That way it's as thin as possible, and ideally this should nicely fit right there. Well, I'm just gonna put want this to be just touching perfectly. There we go. I think that looks right. We're gonna leave that there. Sadly, can I get rid of that line? Yeah. Let me move this for a second. Hide that one. There we go. That which not bothering us. And we are gonna bring this right here. Looks approximately right. We're gonna leave it there. Now here's the fun part where we start adding balloons. There's a command that I found before that it auto-generates the balloons, but that's fine. We're gonna add them manually. So the way it works is that you first create a balloon. It's very similar to the text annotation that we saw when we were creating the earlier drawing. So I can put that balloon in there. So I'm first gonna put all of the balloons, right? That I will just make sure that there is a balloon for each one of our parts. That one goes there, that one there. It will be a little bit crowded, as you can already tell, but that's gonna be fine. So that one goes with that one. This one will go with that one. This one will go with that one. This one will go with that one. I'm just wondering what would be a good location. There we go. Okay. So now what we can do is we edit the balloon that we just created, and then it says select terminating object, and I can click right there, for instance. So now the arrow goes right there. So that piece in here, that is the 2x2 brick slanted. So that is part number yes, part number 4. So I can click in here. I'm gonna say that's a 4. Very good. The same thing goes in here. And I edit this. So it's very manual, that process, right? Then select terminating object. Yes. There we go. Good. And that is part number 4 as well. Close. This one, meanwhile, is terminating object. Will be a good location there. And that is the slanted 2x3. So that's number 5. Okay. So I'll just speed myself. I'll do this and I'll speed the video now. That way you don't have to hear me speak while I do all of this slowly. So now we are actually done with this particular drawing, but you know what? Let's create a new sheet. So that's exactly what I do. Use template, yes, I do A4, say yes, okay. So now the problem of this, yes, so we have sheet one and sheet two. I'll try to copy everything that we had from the previous one. So first issue, so today is a different date, actually, we're continuing the following date. So today is 01, 10, 25. And even though actually we did end up deleting one of the stuff, even though I'll probably still leave it in here because we do need this. So if you remember in here, we need to go back here versus layers, making sure, oh, no, not this layer. Okay, layer, your settings, make sure that that 256 is selected. Why? So that allows us to select this table. And then I go here to settings, no, not to settings, to edit definition, and you go to where it says edit table. That's what we want to do. So now you can go here and click, just delete all of the stuff that you don't need and just make it look exactly like the other sheet. Almost anything. One thing that I'm not going to show you now because I haven't investigated myself how to do it, but it's very useful is how to create a drawing template, which is something that you could have if you're going to be creating a lot of drawings, right? That could be very useful in the long run. I don't know, I like creating drawings myself. They are a lot of fun. Oh, how to get almost anything that looks good. When I edit in here, I call that Lego airplane. I believe we will go to sheet one. Actually, when I say finish, remember what we had and say, okay, that's fine. So we go to sheet one. And yes, Lego airplane, how to get almost anything. It's 5.2. So I'm gonna go back to sheet two. Let's go here to definition and let's continue editing our table, right? Right here, let's go here to settings. Cell, I'll say middle center, close. Oh, I do want to change the size of this to 9. Close. Let me just make sure that that is also middle center. Yes. The no, there. Good. Yeah, lettering I don't quite care in here, but this is gonna be this 5. I'm gonna say it's 5.2 because it's still technically the same drawing as that one. It's like the same edition, but it's the second sheet, right? So A4 paper and these guys, I'm gonna merge them, and I'll get rid of that triangle afterwards. Merge as well. I'm gonna edit the text in here and say note all. Now I can just get rid of this, get rid of that, and remember finish edit table. Very good. And say okay. Now this triangle, also I can hide though that one. It's fine. Whether I can do the same thing with this one, yes. We just need to temporarily move the table. I can hide this stuff that I don't need. There we go. That way it looks much neater. And I might actually go back to our previous Lego brick drawing and do the same thing. That way it looks nice and neat in that way. And now, yes, let's bring back Yeah. Now it looks nice and clean right over there. Excellent. So now let's start bringing base views. So yes, let me see what are the different views that we have available to us. So maybe this one, well, it remembers the explosion. Here, back, left. I think the top will definitely be an important view to bring. I'll bring this one too, and I will bring an isometric view in just a moment. I'm just wondering what could be other interesting views to bring. I think I will bring, yes, we'll bring another base view. Front, no, right. Oh, this is a nice one, but I'm wondering back, bottom. Bottom looks kind of nice. Left. I'm gonna save this. I'll come back to it in a moment. I'm gonna go Control M, model views, go here to right. Let's see. Right, so left was the front of the plane. I see. So let's go back here to applications, drafting. So I will bring, in that case, the left view. Like that. I think it could be useful to have as well an isometric view of this thing. In fact, I might move some of these things around. Bring this bad boy here. The way I might do it is, yes, I'll make these two. Okay, I like this orientation. Like that, and I do want to bring the isometric view. Let's see. Hmm, I kind of see. No, I'm gonna go here to M, and I'm gonna save a new view. It's gonna be this one right here. So I'm gonna call this here model views, add view. I'll rename this as uh, drawing ISO. So this is gonna be useful. And now we're gonna go back to application, drafting, and the base view that I wanna bring is this one that's gonna be called drawing ISO. There we go. Which we're gonna draw right there. Excellent. So now this one I'll go down to settings. No. Yes, it is down to settings. Then shading. So this is the only one. Actually, make everything shaded, fully shaded. I do want to show because the point about this one, I do want to show it because these are all different bricks, and I want to transmit that with this shading, fully shaded. Uh, settings, fully shaded. Okay. So now if we go back to view, show hide, center lines, we're gonna hide all of them. Now, what is that? There we go. So what that line represented. So now we can start adding a couple of nodes where it says side, top, front, isometric. So this looks kind of pretty. So let's do exactly that. I'm gonna go here to drafting home. There we go. So now that one in there, that's gonna be called side view. Here, I'll call this one top view. That way it's clear, right? Like what we're looking at in here. Then another one that I'm gonna bring right here. I'm gonna call front view. And finally, one down here, there will be isometric. And the isometric views, we always said, we don't need to provide any dimensions on it. Isometric view. Like this, so it's right like that. Excellent. I might bring this view a little bit more. There we go. So it also moved that in there. Now we're gonna click save. Now, if we go here to File, Preferences, Drafting, then in where it says Dimension, you go to where it says Text, and in text you have like the units. I can say, right, that I always want to show 2 decimal places. I want to make it a point, and then show the trailing zeros. And then in orientation, I always want to make it horizontally oriented. Yes, that's the one I want. I click OK. So now every time that we're going to write a dimension, to give an idea right now, for instance, say I want to put the reality that you want to now show general dimensions, right, of our plane. So I can say, right, D from there to there, and that is 128 millimeters. Yes, all dimension and millimeter and 2 zeros. So that's exactly what we wanted. And that also should be 128. So this is mostly to show some general size considerations, right? So this is gonna be 30.10. Okay, that would make sense. As for the length of our plane, bring the top view here. There we go. That way you know that this is supposed to be 80, the overall length of the plane. And I think that's as many dimensions that I would want to portray, right? It's like if you were to design a box where this would fit, how big would that box need to be? That way, you know, it's right. And then everything else you can infer from the sizes of the brick. Yeah, so I'm pretty satisfied with this. I will open now from before our Lego brick drawing in here and just do, I'm gonna see if I can hide that line here. So I'll do that very quickly. That's fine. Great, that doesn't interfere. So we're drawing. Great. Okay. Three. Where it becomes. Oh wow. That is an interesting way of showing the Lego brick. But I kind of like that too. Anyways, this is how you would make the drawing. So now we have sheet 1, where you have the explode view showing the instructions of how you build the brick, the airplane, and then you have the sheet number 2, and it's showing you how big the general dimensions of the airplane are. That being said, this is in general how you make the airplane. So I'm gonna now save them. Oh, actually, I should change I'm gonna get rid of, yes, I was forgetting about get rid of these lines in here. That way we don't need them. They don't bother us. Yeah, so that disappeared. Okay. Now the ones, yeah, maybe I could have, I believe I had deleted the one that was in here. See that line? I may just add it in there. Let's see. I make it thicker. What is this? Let me, I think it would be better if I look at the thickness of that one. That's the point. 0.35. So is this one 0.35 too? I guess it looks approximately similar now, if we look at it this way, even though they weren't the same. But just to make it look as similar as possible. Yes, so this is it. So now I'm gonna stop sharing in here. Start sharing again over here. Yes, so just a little preview of what's coming up next time. So for our very last session, last and final session, at least of these asynchronous sessions, we're gonna design a wooden train and all of these different wooden tracks. It's gonna be a lot of fun to make these. That it's not gonna, it's while the design itself is gonna be something simple, what's gonna be more complex is that we're gonna make this model in such a way that we can create multiple configurations of the same thing. In other words, that means that I can take this little train and make a ton of different versions of this train. Maybe with like three wheels on the side, the wheels. So we'll make one general train, one general wagon, even different numbers that we could put. And we'll make it perhaps not as detailed. I mean, it will look like this, but perhaps not as detailed with like the different colors. And the same thing with the tracks. We'll try to get each one of these models, and then we'll make an assembly of all of these things. And ideally, we can make also an animation showing all of these different things. Yes. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.